Hey folks, Ty Morris with Denver Beacon, right in the heart of Denver, Colorado, right in the middle of Colfax Avenue. We were at the Bluebird Theater. The thing that really impressed upon me to lead worship, ever since I was a young kid, I've always wanted to see my friends and family have an experience with Christ the way that I did. I grew up in urban Chicago. And in urban Chicago, not everyone listened to what they will call church music. But I was like, wow, if I could just have an opportunity to share this great gospel through the avenue of song to my friends, I was like, man, this would be absolutely amazing. So I prayed, hey, God, give me the grace to do this. And this is exactly what he's done. First of all, you have to, as a worship leader, as an artist, you first have to live this lifestyle. There's no such thing as getting up and then turning it on and then hoping that folks would just automatically, be drawing to you. I mean, even some of our greatest stars of our times, Michael Jackson, Prince, even some of our greatest worship leaders. If you ever sit down and have a heart-to-heart conversation with them, this is who they are all the time. And as I begin to read the Bible, in particular, and first of all, the Bible, the greatest book ever written, and the greatest worship leader to have ever led worship, King David. King David epitomized worship. It's who he was. He didn't code it. He didn't hide it. He didn't masquerade it. It's who he was. And as a result of who he was, this is how David was able to engage the people of that time to worship. Now, sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's not so great. Any form of standing up in front of people, you're going to have your highs and lows. Now, relative to Beacon, we have an amazing group of people at Beacon. I'm super excited every single Sunday that I get the opportunity to stand up in front of the people. And our service is very high energy, from top to bottom. Our lead guy, Pastor CV, he's gonna hit you in the face with that word. And then you got a silly guy like me that's gonna jump up and down in worship. And, but sometimes our people, they're gonna look at me like, dude, it's 8:30 in the morning. Really, bro? But again, it's who I am. And you cannot allow the faces of the people or the actions of the folks detour you from who you are. I think the most important thing is what you do. You have to hope that what you do will spark a conversation. And if it sparks a conversation, then growth will begin to take place. Yeah, absolutely. We all know within the church realm. I often laugh about it because we all know within the church realm. I get so many people coming up to me week in and week out. Hey, I want to be a part of the worship team. It's so cool what you guys are doing. Because they see everything that's taking place, right? They clearly experience the move of God. They see the cool outfits. I mean, they see it all. They experience the cool music. But what has to take place is that there has to be some sort of educational piece. The worship team has become nowadays the rock stars of the church, and I believe that you have to really dispel that whole thing. David said it so well. He said, man, you have to have a broken and a contrite heart. You have to be broken before God every single time you get up and really take an approach of this is a small I. As a matter of fact, it's not an I at all. It's God, whatever you want to do in this moment. The things that we've implemented, over at Beacon is, guys, I don't care if we don't sing a note, if we don't play anything. The first thing first is that we're going to give God what he deserves. We're going to totally surrender to him and allow him to move because he's already in the room. We're not going to invite him in the room because he's already there. So whatever you want to do in this moment, God, do it and allow that time to take place. You see, oftentimes we don't allow the time to take place because we're so afraid of the time issue. Oh my God, we're so afraid of the dead air. And, coming from an artist's perspective as well, no one wants dead air. But you have to look at it and say, God, this is not Ty. This is not anything. This is you, bro. You have your way. And it's worked, man. And I've seen lives change. I've seen hearts broken through worship. And it just, man, as I look back, it fills my heart with joy because people like, man, I want this Jesus. I want this Jesus that you're singing to. And deliberately, if you ever get a chance to come over to Beacon, I on purpose prayerfully select songs where we're singing to him and not so much about him, and it breaks yokes. Yeah, absolutely. There was this young lady. She's been with us. She's been with me for an extended period of time. When her and I met, we were both in college at the same time. She was agnostic. She didn't believe at all, but she was drawn to, for some reason, she was drawn to hip hop music, and she was drawn to gospel and Christian music. Go figure. I'm like, what a combination, But we would often share about the Bible, and she would have questions about the Bible, and and I would tell her, hey, whatever your problems are, whatever your situations are, Christ is the answer. This music that you're listening to, it's all about Jesus. It's all about Jesus. The reason you're drawn to this is because God is drawing you to this. And, and she couldn't quite understand it. But I remember a time where she came up to my wife and I, and she had tears in her eyes, and we were out ministering somewhere. And she said, Ty, I get it. She said, I get it. What must I do to be saved? And it did my wife and I so good to lead her to Christ right there. And now, if you see her, she's a Bible thumping preacher, right? I mean, she's on fire for Jesus. So, man, that to me, man, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. She's telling the whole world, and now she's leading her family, who didn't believe, who were Buddhist.